Hello, and today this is about as cell the unit of life and an overview of the cell. Right from this topic, we'll be starting. That's already in NCRT. If you follow NCRT or if you put NCRT beside you and then listen, it will be really fantastic. So we'll start from overview of the cell in the chapter cell the unit of life. The earlier part is just a simple theory. What is the cell theory and all? Yes. That's what we had already finished. Now it is about the overview of the cell. So earlier in the lower classes, like in 8th, 9th or 10th, we studied about something like two kind of structures. Two kind of structures in that one included onion, onion cells. Yes, let me increase the side a bit. Yes, so 1 minute. Yeah. So we discussed about onion cells and human cheek cells. Human cheek cells. Yes, yeah. Now, basically, onion cells, onion cells or onion cell is a typical plant cell. It is a plant cell, yes, because onions we get obviously from the plants. So, in the plant cell, for example, if I consider a typical plant cell to be somehow like this, yes, this is the nucleus, membrane bound structure, and yes, next when I take something else, yeah, let's take some different color. Why not? For sure. So 1 second. So onion cell is a basically onion cell is a plant cell, as you all to know, you too know, right? Yes, so let's see now. So yes, there we go. I'm just adjusting some things just to cooperate with some time. So this is not even looking right. Yeah, so it's fine now, isn't it? It is fine. But if this is the case, just a little 1 second. That spared me a time of 1 second. Everything is yes, yes. So basically, when we speak onion cells, onion cells are the plant cells, right? And human cheek cells are one of the animal cells, right? Humans also come under the animals. Now, when we talk about a plant cell, a plant cell, that is nothing that the one example as onion cell. So this is the cell, for example, and this is the membrane. Look, as if to describe. So this is a nucleus, and now what I am drawing is a cell wall. Yes, it is a cell wall. So it is a distinct and it is a unique character in plant cells that plant cells are plant cells are bounded by the cell wall. This is your yes, yes. So this is our cell wall. Yeah. So now there we go. This is the cell wall. is the cell, as I've told. This is a membrane bounded nucleus. This is the cell wall. Yes, this is the cell wall. It is the unique character in plant cells. It is present only in the plant cells. Yes, it is the outermost boundary in the plant cells, whereas you don't find it in the human cells or in the animal cells. In the animal cells, and after that in plant cells, beyond or inner side to the cell wall, you will be finding the cell membrane. This is our cell membrane, whereas this is our cell wall. Yes, this is our cell wall. And yes, and it is in plant cells. I am telling again, this is a plant cell. In plant cells cell wall is the delimiting structure of the cell. Delimiting structure. Now, what is mean by delimiting structure? In the sense, delimiting structure, limiting, what you can understand from the term is limiting. There is some kind of limit. So in this is, a plant cells is always bounded and limited by a cell wall, but it is completely opposite in the case of a human cell or in the animal cell. In any kind of animal cell, in any kind of animal cells, the delimiting structure is the cell membrane itself. The cell membrane itself. There is no other delimiting or there is no other additional structure as such as cell wall is present in plants. This is the nucleus. Yes, you can see this. This is always a membrane bounded. This is in the case of animal cells. And now, but yes, this is in the case of animal cells. Now, cell membrane is the outermost or the delimiting structure in the animal cells, but in plant cells, cell wall is the outermost cell. Now, yes, so now one second, let's make it sound like this. In the case of animal cells, in the case of animal cells, or we found cell membrane is outermost, and in plant cells, cell wall. Now, the few of the common features of both plant cells and animal cells is, this is the cell, this is the dense in the sense, some which is much denser, like a something like a whole thing, some, yes, some which is viscous, and it is nucleus. It is nucleus. And what does nucleus contains of? Now, nucleus consists of chromosomes. Nucleus consists of chromosomes. Yes, now these chromosomes in turn consist of DNA, but that is obviously the genetic material, or you can call also the genetic material. Genetic material. Genetic material. Yes, nucleus is there. In nucleus, will be find chromosomes. Yes, in these chromosomes, instead you will be finding DNA or DNA or 1 second. DNA or genetic material. Yes, genetic material. Now, I've just told that nucleus has a membrane, right? But here there is now, based on the presence or absence of nuclear membrane, based on the basis of on the basis of nuclear membrane. Now, what is nuclear membrane? It is the membrane which bounds the nucleus. Don't get confused. Nuclear membrane is bounds or it bounds nucleus, whereas cell membrane or plasma membrane, cell membrane or plasma membranes bounds the whole cell. Yes, now on the basis of the nuclear membrane, not cell membrane but nuclear membrane, cells, these cells are divided into two kinds: eukaryotic and another is prokaryotic. Now, eukaryotic cells are the cells whose nucleus or whose nuclei is bounded, has nuclear membrane, nuclear membrane, whereas prokaryotic cells don't have nuclear membrane, don't have nuclear membrane. Done? Yes, yes. You can see even in our answer, cells that have membrane bound nuclei are eukaryotic, whereas the cells that lack a membrane bound nucleus are prokaryotic. Nucleus is the single form and the plural form of it is nuclei. Now, in both prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, a semi-fluid matrix called cytoplasm occupies the volume of the cell. The cytoplasm is the main arena of cellular activities in both the plants and animal cells. Now, we had discussed about cell wall. We had discussed about cell wall, which is only in plant cells. We had also discussed about the cell membrane. Remember, cell membrane is also called as plasma membrane. Plasma membrane, or it is also known as plasma lemma. Plasma lemma, right? Note down it. It may not be present in our NCERT, but it is just get it. Cell membrane, plasma membrane, or plasma lemma. And we had also studied nucleus, which is a bounded, dense bounded. And now, if the nuclear membrane is there, then the cells are told to be eukaryotic. Yes, and if not present, if nuclear membrane isn't present, then those are prokaryotic. Yes. Now, in both the prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells, in the sense in also in yeah, prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells, a semi-fluid matrix is known as cytoplasm. This is very common point. You might all studied all this in our 8th and 9th. So cytoplasm is the semi-fluid matrix. Semi-fluid matrix. It is a semi-fluid matrix, and most of this volume of this cell, volume of cell is occupied by cytoplasm. Now, what is the function of cytoplasm? Listen, cytoplasm is the main arena, in the sense most of the cellular activities might be the breakdown of the energy or anything, or cell division, anything. Most of these activities takes place in the cytoplasm, none other where nowhere but in cytoplasm. And yes, now in the cytoplasm, and various chemical reactions occur in it to keep the cell in the living state. It is one of the good statement that what all takes place in the cytoplasm is nothing but chemical reactions. Chemical reactions takes place in the cytoplasm, hence as if in us chemical reactions are taking place in all the human beings or all the living beings. But coming to non-living organisms, like a stone is there, right, a wall is there, is there any chemical reaction taking place? No. But it is taking place in us, so that it is to be termed as we are in the living state. Simple, isn't it? So we are in the living state. That's only to be focused on. Yes, we are living. Why are we living? In the sense, in our body, we are living because many chemical reactions are being taking place in our body. One second. Many chemical reactions are taking place, so we are in living state right now. Even now many reactions are taking place. Now, besides nucleus, the eukaryotic cells have other membrane bound distinct structures called cell organelles or organelles, like endoplasmic reticulum, endoplasmic reticulum, or it might be your mitochondria or Golgi complex. What are all these? What are all these? Like you have these, and you also have lysosomes. Yes, we also have lysosomes. What are all these? Let's discuss. These are nothing but the cell organelles. Cell organelles. Or all these cell organelles. Not only nucleus. Look, nucleus has a membrane, right? Nuclear membrane is there. As in the same way, there are many other organelles which also have membranes. These are membrane bounded cell organelles. These are cell organelles, means these are some cell structures. In the sense, these are the cell structures which consist of a membrane, a membrane, a membrane. Yes, these are membrane bounded. These are called cell organelles. Maybe I gave few examples: ER, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex, lysosomes. Yes, and many others. Next, now again, but remember a thing. A question might be framed using this in any of kind of tests, that there is a kind of cell organelle which has no kind of cell organelle which has no membrane around it, and it is ribosome. Remember, ribosome has no membrane, no membrane around it. So the cell organelle. So the question will be cell organelle without cell membrane is our ribosome. Okay, yes. Now we discuss that prokaryotic cell has nuclear membrane. Sorry, prokaryotic cell lacks nuclear membrane, whereas eukaryotic cells have nuclear membrane, right? And one more thing is that prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. Look, one second. Look, prokaryotic, eukaryotic. Here nuclear membrane is there. It is not there. Here it is present. And one more thing comes that in prokaryotic cells there are no membrane bounded cell organelles. Very important point to be noted that these don't have, look what I've told, the cell organelles which have cell membrane are, for examples for this, those were endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex, mitochondria, lysosomes. In the sense prokaryotic cells don't have, or else you can also say that prokaryotic cells lack a mitochondria and all this, because it doesn't has a membrane, cell organelles bounded with membrane. That's natural that it will not have any kind of mitochondria, lysosomes, Golgi complex, microbodies and vacuoles. These are also all membrane bounded cell organelles, but those are absent in prokaryotic cells. But in eukaryotic cells, you find you find we find membrane bounded cell organelles. This is also one main difference. You find membrane bounded cell organelles, yes, in eukaryotic cells. So draw a column: eukaryotic, prokaryotic, right? Eukaryotic cells has nuclear membrane, prokaryotic cells don't have, whereas eukaryotic cells have cell organelles which are bounded by membrane, whereas prokaryotic cells don't have cell organelles which are bounded with membrane. In the sense a point, very important point to be noted down here, it is prokaryotic cells have only one cell organelle, which is only one cell organelle, which is ribosome, right? Why? Because generally prokaryotic cells don't have the cell bound membrane bounded cell organelles, but ribosomes don't have any membrane, right? Do they have any membrane? No, they don't have any kind of membrane. So ribosomes are present both in prokaryotes also, even in eukaryotes also, in both of them. Like ribosomes are non-membrane bound organelles found in all cells, in the sense both in eukaryotic and prokaryotic. Within the cell, ribosomes are found not only in the cytoplasm but also within the two organelles chloroplast in plants and mitochondria and on rough ER. Like what we have discussed, cytoplasm, it is a fluid matrix. In this all organelles are there, right? In this all organelles are there, mitochondria, ribosomes, or anything, right? But a special feature in ribosome is that ribosomes are not only in cytoplasm, they are also in mitochondria. In the sense, tomorrow a question can be asked in any of your test that which is the cell organelle which is also present in some another cell organelles. Ribosome, cell mitochondria is a cell organelle, ribosome is also cell organelle. So which is the cell organelle which is also present in another cell organelles, that is our ribosome. And it is also present in chloroplast, but chloroplasts are absent in animal cells, only in plants. Note the point, only in plant cells. Understood? Next, these are also present in rough ER. Now what is this rough ER, endoplasmic reticulum, or mitochondria, chloroplast? We'll discuss in the further part of the chapter. Yes. Now, animal cells contain another non-membrane bound cell organelles called centrosomes, which help in cell division. Very important point to be noted over here. Cells differ. Look, animal cells, what is the cell cell organelle which doesn't have membrane? Ribosome. It is present also in animal cells. One more special cell organelle which is exclusively only present in animal cell but not in plant cells is centrosome. This all will come across in the later part of the chapter. Centrosome is present only in animal cells, only in animal cells, and it is also non-membranous. It is also a non-membranous. What does it helps is, it helps in cell division. It helps in cell division when a cell divides. Now obviously cells differ in their size, right? Size of the cells, different cells, shapes of the different cells, their functions, right? Their functions are different, right? Their functions are different. For example, now this might be asked, mycoplasma, mycoplasmas mycoplasmas are the smallest cells whose size is 0.3 microns. 0.3 microns in length. Till today the very smallest cell found is mycoplasmas, and their size or the length is 0.3 microns. Yes. Next comes first mycoplasmas, which are in size when you go from ascending order, in the sense from small to bigger, mycoplasmas. Then comes the some bacterial cells, which are generally they might be length from 3 to 5 microns, but mycoplasmas are only 0.3 microns. Yes, those are only 0.3 microns. Those are only 0.3 microns. Yes. Now we'll change the shade of the board. We'll change the shade. Let's do something very interesting in case. Now okay, there we go. So there we go. No, so there we go. Yes. So yes. So in size, when you talk mycoplasmas, which are very smaller in size, then comes the bacteria or the bacterial cells. Yes, then comes the bacterial cells. Yes, these are the very smallest, you can tell the smallest cells. Now, largest isolated single cell, largest single cell, largest and isolated single cell is the egg of an ostrich. Very important point, might be asked in any kind of exams also. It is ostrich cell, ostrich egg cell instead you should call it. Isolated in the sense not combined, it is isolated. Now, it is the largest cell in the world, you can call it largest cell, largest cell. Yes. Next, coming to human RBC cells, human RBC cells, those are 7.0 microns in diameter. Important point, it is only in diameter, not in length, because those are round in structure, those are round or biconcave, those are round or biconcave. So we obviously find only diameter, but mycoplasms it was in length, and even bacteria were in length, even ostrich cells in length. Now the large, now note a difference over here. Largest cell, largest largest cell is the ostrich cell, ostrich, ostrich egg cell, ostrich, one second, ostrich egg cell, one second, ostrich egg cell. But longest is different from largest. Longest cell is the nerve cell, longest cell is the nerve cell, longest cell is the nerve cell. Longest cell is largest in the sense you can find it in the terms of breadth, right? In the breadth or something like that, the whole criteria. But nerve cells are long in length like this. If I draw a very rough diagram of it, it will be something like this. A neuron, rough diagram, it will be a neuron, right? Something like this. Not exactly, I'm not that good at diagrams, but like this. But this is a nerve cell around, longest in length. Okay, largest is cell, isolated ostrich cell, egg cell. Longest is nerve cell. Now coming to cells, this was about cells sizes. Yes. Now shapes, when you talk, those can be any kind of shape, like polygonal, those could be polygonal, or those could be thread like, those could be thread like, or even irregular. Yes, or those could be even cuboidal, those could be even round, those could be even columnar. Yes, those could be even columnar, disc like. Their shapes also vary very much. Now, why does the shape varies? Why does the shape varies? Why? Question mark. Why? Because based on their functions. Based on their function, shape differs. shape, one second, based on their function, shape also differs. Based on their function, shape differs. How? Example, look, this is a nerve cell as I've given in the earlier example. A very rough diagram I'm drawing, very rough. So if these are the projections, you learn all about this with me in earlier chapters. Look, something flower like, something irregular projections, and this is the longest projection. This is the longest projection. Yes, yes, it is. This is the longest projection. Look up now, what it does, it transmits neural signals. You'll learn about all this in your further classes. It is neural signals. So from here it comes like this, then it goes from here, or it goes from here till like this. So its shape is highly helping. Its shape is highly helping, right? Then next comes the like, for example, like this is the boy concave, this is the kind of RBC. If it is like this, its area, surface area will be more. It's a surface area, so it will be like this is the, so it can absorb more oxygen, RBC cells. So in that way it helps. Like in intestine you will find brush bordered microvilli like this, they'll have brush bordered. In this, the blood capillaries will be coming. Example, just I'm telling why the shape varies with the function. So here they have to absorb, the in intestine villi in small intestine, not in small intestine. So in this case we can tell that, like in this way we can tell that the cell size varies in according to the function. Thank you.